All right, everybody, welcome back. Backyard Brawl, episode 11. A lot to cover today. Not really anything major other than prescription P, but
Yeah.
I'll leave it up to you. You have the topics list. I'll leave it up to you where you want to start today.
Let's start with let's start with the Vic Fangio thing.
All right, yeah.
I want to start with that
We'll start
because
with Vic Fangio, and then we'll also go into. I don't think last time. I think the day before. I don't think we had a coordinate offensive coordinator last week when we did
uh
the pod.
no, no.
So we'll also get to that, but we can start with Vic Fangio because
Or did
I'm
we?
I don't think we did because I think that came out Tuesday while I was in class, and I think we posted the pod late, but we had done it already.
Are we? No, no, it broke Thursday.
It broke when I was in class at some
It
point.
broke Thursday because I did my show on Thursday and like my show ended like right before the Mannion news broke.
We would have put it in the title if it had happened. So, and it's not title, so I'm pretty sure we
Mhm.
didn't. So we'll get to that, but we can start with Vic Fangio.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, Vic Fangio. Fuck, what the hell? Can you hear me now?
I can hear. You. Yeah,
Hold on. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear.
Okay. Anyways, all right. So right now, Vic Fangio is on the cusp of possible retirement, um, which puts the Eagles in a really shitty spot because Jonathan Gannon, I think, just went to the Packers.
He can go. He can go.
Yeah, but you're not left with a lot of options pretty much at the defensive coordinator spot. This is a beloved coach in the city. He's the reason that not the sole reason, but I would say 80% of the reason why you have the defense that we have now. So, you know, there's not a lot of coaches left in the coaching carousel, especially on the defensive side of the football. So for this news to come out the way it's been coming out is not, great news to anybody. It's very alarming. This guy said that he would be here a few seasons and he would retire here. Nobody thought it would come this early. My initial thoughts is I think he will be back, but the way that he is handling this whole situation and the front office and the media is handling this shows me that it's more of a shit show in this offseason than we really thought it would be. It's just kind of a whirlwind wind, excuse me, of just different things coming together and creating a bad storm.
Yeah, so a couple things that at least that I have seen now, you know, I do scroll Twitter a fair bit, but the good thing about Twitter is that most things are tagged with a source. So there's certain sources that I just don't trust. But like, Diana Rossini I trust pretty much because, she was breaking a lot of this stuff this year with AJ Brown and, we come to find out now that pretty much all of it was true. Um, so some of the stuff that I saw, I don't know if it's specifically her, but was that he did do this same thing last year, but I think convincing him to come back was much easier. But
Yeah.
he did tell them like I'm thinking about retirement after last season, and they got him back. I think this season he thought about it a little bit harder, and all reports right now are saying he's going to be back. Like I'm not. When you brought this up to open with, I kind of thought like I honestly forgot about it because the past couple days I've been like, there was like Jonathan Gannon and Jim Schwartz would be candidates they would consider, but then all I'm seeing is like the Eagles are very, very confident that Fangio will be back. So I don't know that, what my level of worrying about it should be. Um, what it does signal to me is that this is probably it, unless it
Yeah, this
goes
will be the
great
last
again.
year.
Like, yeah, like I'd be
I
very
mean,
shocked if he's here after this season. And what is unfortunate is it seemed like they really liked Christian Parker as a young up and
yeah,
coming,
and he's
and
gone.
he's gone.
Yeah.
I don't think, Clint Hurt got a lot of looks in the offseason. He's been around football for a long time, but again, I don't, I think it's easier as a defensive and I don't know this exactly, but in terms of your defense is like if you're a specific coach and you have talented pass rushers, you'll be able to win sometimes with four guys. And then if your MO is we're gonna blitz, you'll get some sacks. but I feel more confident with a guy who has a specific scheme on the back end, such as Fangio does. His where he's known for is how he manipulates the back end, that umbrella coverage that he runs. So, I think I probably would have liked Christian Parker to still be here if they had known that, maybe you
Andrew,
overpay him
yeah.
for a year so he stays and then, you promote him. Also,
Well, I think either way,
they might be sick of promoting people in house because of how it's worked offensively.
no matter how the season goes this year, it'll be Fangio's last year, regardless of if, God forbid, we win the Super Bowl or, go make a deep playoff run.
I agree.
There is one guy on the open market right now, Jim Schwartz. He's really
I'd have
the
no
only guy
I'd have no problem
who
with that.
he's really the only guy who I'd have no worries of coming in and coaching this defense. Like you said, Fangio has his set of a defense that he uses. I cannot imagine Jim Schwartz's differentiates between
I mean,
him.
he's
It's
blitz
got to be the
heavy.
same thing.
He's a lot more
Yeah.
blitz heavy.
So even promoting within like a guy like Clint Hurt, your defensive line is the best part of his team. Maybe aside from the secondary, but this past season we saw the defensive line is much better than
I know
your
they
linebackers and your secondary. So a guy like
I
Clint Hurt really wouldn't be the worst thing in the world,
I know
but
they
I
do
don't feel
like the guy
comfortable
they
with that.
promoted. I know they like the guy that they promoted in Christian Parker's spot. He's young. I think he's a white guy. I don't know his
Yeah,
name. But
I don't know.
yeah, it's just something it's just I would have felt worse about it if I hadn't heard that he did this same thing last year. Like if he was like after this season, it would have felt more like the kind of like we never knew. Like I'm not as big into the Jason Kelsey fanatica as everybody else is.
Hmm.
I kind of thought that towards the end he almost sort of became a distraction for the team, like doing the podcast, doing all this
Well,
stuff.
I'm one of few fans, and I took heat for this from our own friends. I'm sick of seeing Jason Kelsey everywhere at this point.
I
And
mean,
then
I don't
I
care
was called
now.
I was called a no. I care now because I'm sick of seeing his face everywhere. I love the guy as
I
an
mean,
athlete,
listen,
but
I don't
I'm tired
watch
of seeing it.
I don't watch I don't watch his podcast. When I saw the other day that he was trying to do a dunk at the Sixers game, I was like, that's probably pretty gonna be pretty funny. I was like, that'd be pretty funny to try and watch. But like,
If he's
when he was like I don't mind that he works for ESPN. Like his game breakdown is good. Like he's obviously he was a great football player here. He was a very
Mhm.
smart, very cerebral player. But that last season, I just was kind of like, dude, like listen, credit to we'll get to him later and his issues, but credit to Paul George. He shut the podcast down. He got
Yeah.
hurt. He shut the podcast down. He didn't start it back this season. So, you got to focus on the team. And I felt like everything was going wrong. And he was like, well, I'm in fame right now over on this side. So I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
doing it.
Well, if
So,
it's stuff within the city, this is going based off of now. If he's doing stuff within the city, I always love him on WIP. Um, you know, even within football, like he does what, Thursday night football or something like that, or he does
He
Monday
works for
night football.
ESPN.
Yeah, if it's stuff within the sport and stuff within the city, I'm fine with it. I'm just personally tired of seeing him in all these commercials and doing whatever the fuck that we've seen him do for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, I
So
get
that's
that.
just my 2 cents, but it's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with the Fangio thing.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just saying it has to do with the Fangio thing because that 2023 season, we went the whole year not knowing if he was going to retire. Like if it had gone better, maybe, they went to the Super Bowl lost and he thought that they had another Super Bowl team, maybe he does
yeah,
come back. Now we've kind of known like, Fangio's kind of over it. Like he's probably going to be back. I think he likes the young guys in the secondary. I think he's kind of like a reserved guy, but I think he has fun in that room.
yeah.
I know he loves the shitties, but I think he likes
Mhm.
still being in Philadelphia.
Going
But
off the locker room thing, I mean, I saw a thing earlier in the season where the best player on the defense of that week, later in the meeting, he'll bring him home cooked meatballs or something like that, or
yes,
just something like
I think he
it
has
was
a
something
great
fun. So
relationship with.
he's got a great relationship with his players. But again, the guy's 68.
Mhm.
That's not young for an NFL coach. It's not like in the 90s and stuff like that where coaches would coach until they're 70 something odd years old, where you would favor an older guy to coach. It's no longer like that. And I think another thing is if he retires, it wouldn't be the biggest deal in the world because I don't think if you have the guys on your team, you don't need a complex defensive coordinator to come in and carry the brunt load of how this defense is going to operate. It's just the facts. Quarterbacks are not as good as they used to be anymore. I mean, obviously you're playing a lot of versatile quarterbacks. Like Drake May is what, 6'5", 6'4", can run.
I
You're
don't
getting a lot of that. So you don't necessarily have to have a crazy schematic coordinator to fill in. That's why I wouldn't be totally upset if he went and retired. He got us a Super Bowl. So I'm forever grateful for that.
yeah.
That's basically what I think.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's switch over to the offensive side of the ball. The Eagles really made two hires, kind of, two important hires. So we initially didn't know that they hired Josh Grizzard to be their uh, quarterbacks coach, pass game coordinator. I don't know if it's a combination. I think it's a combination of both, maybe. And then pair him with Sean Mannion from quarterbacks coach and I believe also the pass game coordinator with the Packers. 33 years old, kind of retired just super recently. Coached under Matt LaFleur, played under Kevin O'Connell, uh, Sean McVay, and I believe Clint Kubiak was another name that was thrown in there that he
Yeah.
played for. So when I initially we were on different sides. I mean, I'm still on the same side. I want to hear how you think now that they've hired, somebody a little more experienced to kind of pair with him to create kind of this duo almost is what it seems like. I think Mannion is going to be calling the plays, but it seems like they have a more confident offensive coaching room. Combine that with, Sirianni is an offensive guy. We're not in those meetings. I don't know if he goes, but he is an offensive guy to start with. So,
At first, when the news first broke, I wasn't thrilled because I'm not a huge fan of young coordinators commanding this type of offense, just because I think you need a guy who's going to not tell Jalen what to do, but have some authority over what Jalen does. But the other side of it is he's played in the league, what, 3.5, 4 years ago?
mm,
So, I mean, he obviously knows how offenses work as a quarterback. Nick Foles spoke great about him. He's got a photographic memory, according to Nick Foles. So I see more good than bad in this hire, but I was opposed only because I wanted a guy like Cooter, not just because of the name. It would have been a hilarious fucking name. But
I didn't.
or a guy like Nagy who coached Mahomes.
Now,
I
listen.
don't.
I just have to intersect. You are quite literally the only person who has mentioned that they wanted Matt Nagy. You are like the only one. Like everybody else was like, thank God we did not end up with Matt
Well,
Nagy.
I wouldn't have cared. Like I would have been fine with the hire.
I just like what I don't know how long
Mm.
Matt Nagy was coaching Patrick Mahomes. It couldn't have been super long because Bieniemy left. He could have been coaching him for like 3, 4 years. So
Still a long time.
maybe he got the one Super Bowl. But the Chiefs have been on an offensive downturn kind of since he has gotten there. Their offense has not excelled. And my issue with Cooter was that, and this is the only time I'm saying his name. My issue with the name I previous mentioned uh, was that listen, losing a guy like Daniel Jones who was playing well, it hurts your team. And then they played Riley Leonard, and then they brought in, Anthony Richardson was out, and then they brought in Philip Rivers. It was kind of a disaster. And Philip Rivers looked decent the one game against the 49ers, but like their offense looked inept once Daniel Jones went out. Which, take Mannion, for example, as the quarterback's coach. Jordan Love went down a couple times. Malik Willis looked great. Like you need that
Yeah.
adaptability. And maybe, the concern for the Eagles the past couple of years has been we think we need Jalen at this point because we don't, Tanner McKee did not look good in that game against
No, he
Washington.
looked terrible. Yeah.
Tanner McKee looked unprepared to play. So when you look at it, maybe they view it as somewhat, if Jalen goes down, we trust that this guy's going to be able to get whoever our backup is next season ready to play. And maybe we can see Jalen run a little more. Maybe we can see Jalen take a little bit more risks. I feel like they
Mhm.
played this year like, Jalen, you cannot get hurt or our season's over. I feel like they played like that sometimes. I think you'd
Well,
agree
that
with that.
they seem to just play not scared to lose, but they're not playing to win. You know what I mean? It's kind of just conservative football,
Hmm.
run hitches, throw to the sideline, which is what we saw all last season. Like it was just bad football all around. It's not something that Jalen is good at doing. Now, I don't know how good he is at throwing over the middle of the field because we haven't really been see it all year. He's had his
We,
throws, like
I
he's
mean, we've seen
capable
it
of
in
doing
years
it.
past. We've seen it
Yeah,
in years past.
he's
So
capable of doing it. So I also think with the Mannion hire, um, Green Bay went a lot under center. That's not something that we really saw until the very end of the year this year, which I'm excited for that. And he's also, a younger coordinator, so he's not going to go and be a head coach somewhere, even
I
if
don't think
we
after a year. I
somehow
don't
win
think
the
after
Super
a
Bowl.
year,
Yeah,
2 years.
even if we win the Super Bowl, I don't see this guy going anywhere. But that also puts me to the other points. I didn't see a guy like Nagy becoming a head coach ever again. I didn't see a guy like Cooter becoming a head coach at some point. So I don't
But
know.
the way that you view it though is I don't want to get because of Matt Nagy was not a good head coach. I don't want to
No.
get stuck into a scenario where somehow, right? It won't happen if Fangio's back, but say somehow, there's some free agents on the defensive side of the ball. Say the defense next year sucks, but the offense is good. Now you might get stuck into a situation where Sirianni gets fired, and now you have Matt Nagy as your head coach if the offense is good. And I don't want that at all. The way that I view this hire is it's very, in a way, low risk because if the team is not good, Sirianni is getting fired, and we're getting a whole new regime in here next
Yeah, I
year.
was gonna say, I think if everything goes awry, you wiping the slate clean, regardless of either if the defense plays bad and the offense plays good, or if the defense plays good and the offense plays bad.
Right. But
I think if
also
both
that
sides of the football suck and the other doesn't, everybody's gone regardless.
but this year they also have the option of by hiring Grizzard, if the offense is not good, but they're in a scenario like this year where their defense is elite and they're winning games like 10-3, 10-7, low scoring games, they can get rid of Mannion mid-year and promote Grizzard. And they have an option there.
Yeah, but I don't think promoting within is always a good option at all because
No,
it
but
just
this
shows that
guy
you're
is fresh
basically,
off and off. This guy is fresh off being an offensive coordinator. Like this isn't like they're promoting Joe Moorhead, who's never called plays. They're promoting Scott Loeffler, who's never called plays in the NFL. This guy is
you know,
fresh one season off of calling plays, and I get it. The Buccaneers' offense looked not great at the end of the year, but I saw those Pro Football Focus or whatever they are, like the route combo trees, and it's pretty diverse the stuff that he runs. And,
yeah,
with Mike Evans being out this year and Chris Godwin being in and out of the lineup, like the Eagles definitely have a better receiving room as of right now, with AJ Brown still being here.
which he'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah. I mean, I saw him
I don't
interacting
think
with
he's going to be
Saquon
gone.
at the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez fight. So, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see that part, but I just think based off of I you're not going to get rid of him before the trade or before the draft because it's not that would be the dumbest financial
Not
move
yeah, right.
ever. And then I don't think post draft you're going to get anything really that's of value, you know?
Hmm.
Now, if they trade him on draft day, do we still eat the cap or do we
No,
still
it's got
have
to
to
be,
wait until after the draft?
I think it's got to be post the draft.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe
I
it's
mean,
post round one,
I
but
don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of all of it.
yeah. All right.
So
Well,
it just it seems like it's uh, going back to the Fangio thing. It seems like he can sense something that the rest of the fan base and maybe some other people in that staff aren't sensing is that this might be on a downward decline, and he doesn't want to be here for it.
yeah, they've got a
You're the
lot of free
Philadelphia
agents.
Eagles.
They can't pay everybody.
No, and that's another thing. You got to go look at like he might not like the landscape of how this defense is going to look next year. He might want N'Kobe Dean back, and N'Kobe Dean might not be back here. Maybe that's another influential thing in his decision. He likes Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips, I think, will be back. Maybe he
Mhm.
likes Reed Blankenship. Reed Blankenship might not be back. So I guess we'll see. But I think the way that this whole thing has been handled, the Eagles are still the number one team media-wise in the NFL. And there's always something with this team. It's us or the Bills. It's like the Epstein files. Something new is always coming out. It's never going to stop coming. The news will always be there. I think Fangio at the age he's at is just kind of, looking at this. He's like, well, realistically, we are not going to win the Super Bowl next year. Maybe that's how he's looking at it. And if we're not going to do that, why am I even coming back here? I have my rings. What has he got? Two rings? One with
Mm,
the Broncos and
yeah, maybe. I know he
one with
wasn't the
us.
head coach with the Broncos.
No, he was the DC. I'm pretty sure. But
Maybe.
you know, like he's probably looking at it like, why would I return? I'm 68 years old. I have a girlfriend. I got grandkids. I'm retiring in the area that I want to retire in. And if I don't see any improvements for this coming season, why should I stay? That's kind of
I
where
think he
I'm at.
will.
And if he doesn't stay, he doesn't stay, whatever.
To conclude, I think he will be back. This isn't a point of necessarily worry for me, but it is that he will be gone after this year, and then they will have to go back into like a hiring process.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on to the Sixers. Very up and down week. Would have been a nice week. They got blasted by Charlotte, but other than that, recovered nicely at home. Got two pretty strong wins, and then one win that, you know, we'll talk about, but they won, so I'm not going to complain. But
Yeah.
then we get the news on Saturday, Sunday,
I believe
Friday,
so. Yeah. Yeah.
Saturday, whatever it was, that Paul George has been suspended 25 games for, I don't even want to say PED use because it was
It
not a
wasn't.
PED.
I don't, well, we don't, he came out and said that it was for mental health reasons. Now, I
Right.
do have a problem with this. Kevin Love, a few years back, came out and stated that he had mental health issues and everybody attacked this guy, which he did, which he does. I mean, the guy
Yeah.
suffers from depression and anxiety and all that type of stuff. He didn't use it as a shield to not play. He legitimately could not operate on a basketball court without having a severe anxiety attack. The NFL did the same thing to Brandon Brooks, what, in 2016 or 2015, something like that, where Brandon
Yeah.
Brooks was one of the best guards in the NFL and literally could not put his hand in the dirt on a football field without having an anxiety attack. The problem with the Paul George thing is it was the first thing he said, but there was no, apparently, there was no like extra information that he wanted to find out whether he could take this drug or not. There is a hotline between all four major sports leagues where if you call this number, you can get an immediate answer on whether you could take this drug or not. I heard it takes like 10 minutes or something like that to do something like this, which he didn't do. And he just went ahead and took whatever drug he went. My mind immediately went to ketamine or MDMA or something like that. If it is a mental health thing, we don't know 100%. Um, but I don't know. That's why he's catching a lot of flack because he's kind of just using this mental health thing as a shield when what he could have done is just called the hotline or went right to his trainer and said, "Hey, can I take this? Blah, 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 blah." And not get $12 million taken off your salary and not get suspended 25 games, putting this team in a position where, hey, it's going to be a little tougher to win. And now I know we have different opinions about that, but hey, it's going to be a lot tougher to win without you. They're what? I think they're 10 and 10 with Paul George in the starting lineup, something
Yeah.
like that.
Somewhere around.
Like it's not a crazy difference, but that's not, they'll get them for the playoffs. But
And they'll get him for,
you're what?
they'll get him back.
You're 3 games back from the 2 seed. So like
So
he gives us a better chance to win, whether you agree with it or not. And I fully believe that you think he does give us a better chance of winning.
I never said he didn't give us a better chance of winning, but I got frustrated at the fact that you and one of our friends were mentioning, Paul George has been excellent this year, which,
No, I didn't say
okay,
excellent. I didn't say
no,
excellent.
it wasn't you that said excellent, but somebody did say excellent.
Yeah.
So somebody said excellent, and then you were saying that it sucks because of the money thing, of how much we're paying him. But I will counter your money point, and I do want to get back to the topic
Well,
because,
it was before the 12. I found out that they was getting 12 million taken off his salary.
well,
That was before that.
they weren't paying him that, but even still, I don't see any sort of this has been a money problem with Paul George. They're overpaying him. I mean, you don't pay that much money for a guy who on your roster is your third or even fourth option on some nights. You don't pay him that kind of money. So, like in reality, I don't care about the money because he's already overpaid, but he plays great defense for them. Our friend who said he was like, and he was rounding into excellent form. His numbers were actually worse in marginally worse in the month of January than they were in December.
We're shooting the
So
ball more.
he was shooting the ball more, but he was shooting a worse percentage, and he
Yeah.
was averaging less. But listen, he's the defensive anchor for this team. He's their best option to guard another team's 1A, 1B. Um, my take on the actual situation itself is I do agree with you. I do agree with you that if there was a hotline, he could have um, called it. He could have
Called.
double checked. What we don't know is just right now, all we got was a very bland statement. Now, mental health for Paul George is not a new thing. He's talked about it a lot in the past. He had an issue with it in the bubble. Uh, he's talked about it a lot. Mental health struggles for himself. What we don't know is, sometimes people will just come out and like throw somebody under the bus. Like that's what happens a lot of times in other sports. Like one of the things I'll say, Jose Alvarado pretty much ran from his. Was
Yeah.
like, you know, they gave me it and I just took it. It wasn't my fault. Yada yada yada. And now, granted, he's not American, so I don't know his level of understanding for what it is. But like, it is a likely. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm saying that it is likely. You know, if you're talking to a therapist, you're talking to a doctor, and they say you can do this, and Paul George asks and says, uh, am I allowed to do this per the NBA? And the doctor says yes. The therapist says yes. When my doctors tell me something, I don't double check it. I don't go on Google and make sure. So there's a lot of stuff. It's just very unknown. And I actually got this. The NBA on ESPN guys, but it's formerly the NBA on TNT. Shaq,
Hmm.
Kenny, Ernie, and Chuck. They were kind of, Shaq said what you said, like, you can just look, you can call, you can text, whatever the system may be. But then uh, Kenny and Charles Barkley kind of said, like, there's something weird about this because he's been outspoken about it before. It doesn't, he never had issues with it. To be honest, if it's, they're not, I know that it's not a performance enhancing drug.
No.
So what's like they were kind of saying like what is necessarily the issue?
Well, there are drugs. There's probably ingredients within the drugs that he was taking or the drug that he was taking that are on a ban list. Like I know from personal experience, I mean, I never did this,
Well,
but
but like
when I played college
Adderall's on the
football,
list. Adderall's on
yeah,
the list.
exactly. When I played college football, they gave me the rundown at the beginning of the season, like, hey, blah, 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 blah. The NCAA has this banned drug, this banned ingredient, this. They give you a whole list. Just for an example, deer antler is an ingredient in some pre-workout. That's banned. If that comes up in a piss test and you're taking pre-workout with deer antler in it, you're out for however many games they put you out. Now, I'd imagine deer antler is not one of those ingredients like an amphetamine where they're going to suspend you the entire year or 6 games or something like that. That's probably a 1 game suspension or something. There are ingredients within these drugs that the professional sports leagues have banned that he probably didn't know. That doesn't mean that it wasn't a stupid decision on his part. He should have contacted the phone line or whatever it was, found out from a personal trainer or a trainer in the NBA, and got it resolved. There's other ways of going about this, and I think that's why fans and people in the media are a little confused by this because he's been in the league, what, how many years? Like 15 years almost?
Yeah, I choose almost to listen to the national figureheads, the guys that played when discussing about it. Because whenever something like this happens, WIP in 97.5, they don't think the Sixers had any shot to win anyway. So the way that they see this is like, oh, strike me down. I'm cursed anyway. This team is cursed anyway. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They had no shot to win, which, listen, I think they can stay afloat and they're going to get him back. I think they still
Three
have a
games
shot to
back.
win.
They're 3 games back from the 2 seed and the 3 seed or something like that. So I agree with you there. To say that there's no shot, I think is ridiculous. I think
Hmm.
the East is that bad. I mean, what the Pistons are 8 games ahead of you for the 1 seed. I think, probably once the Celtics get Jason Tatum back,
If that
they'll be
happens,
the
that's
two.
been
If
very
that
up in the air.
happens, they'll be the 2 seed at that point. But you're able to compete with the Knicks. I think the Knicks are a team that hopefully they don't trade for Giannis. That would be, a nightmare
No, but
situation
but
for
their
years
bench,
to come. But
no, but their bench sucks already. If they're trading for Giannis, they're giving away their future. They're giving away one of Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. They're probably giving away Josh Hart, and they're giving away, a lot of their bench options. Deuce McBride is probably thrown into that trade. So like, Cat is in that trade. Like, they're giving up a lot, which is why I think teams that are competing this year are very, and the Knicks. I saw something today that the Knicks like their team makeup and don't think that they're going to really make a move at the deadline. So I don't.
teams say that all the time.
I
What
just don't
time
see
though?
it. I don't see him going to New York. I think he wants to be in a big market. Maybe in the offseason he could end up in New York, but I don't see New York being one of the teams that kind of makes that move this upcoming week.
I mean, I don't know. I think the reason why my fans are so upset about this is, you know, not everyone's watching basketball like you. No one realizes that in comparison to his contract, he's not playing as well as he should be. But as opposed to last year, he's playing,
Playing
at a
better. I
much
mean,
better level.
he played like 15 games last year, 20 games,
hmm
something like that.
So that's why
Um,
fans are pissed off. And at 25 games is a lot of games, I feel like. You were opposed to that. I think 25 games is a lot of games.
just the way that I viewed it is like there was plenty of 2 years ago, we didn't have a third guy. Kelly Oubre was our third guy a
Yeah.
couple years back, and Joel Embiid missed that many games right in the middle, right around the same time in the year, like as right now. Joel Embiid missed that same amount of games, and just Tyrese Maxey alone was able to keep this team afloat. Joel got back. They went 10-0, or they went like 6-0 in the games that
Uh,
Joel played when he got back. And they got into the playoffs, went to 6 games with New York. I think maybe, if Joel was a little bit healthier and didn't go down again with the knee thing and the face thing, I think they win that series. So to me, it is not the end of the world. It sucks. I said this. I said it sucks, but it's not like it doesn't make me go at all. We did it again. They blew the season. It doesn't make me
yeah.
do that. And I think in the moment it was a very shocking thing. Like, you don't expect to wake up and be like, damn, Paul George, 25 games, PEDs or whatever it was listed as. You know, you don't expect to see that. But talking about the actual Sixers on the court from the last week, um, I'll just speak to their problems because, obviously successes. Joel Embiid's look good. Tyrese Maxey's look good. Um, you know, they get the game winner from Tyrese. That same night, Joel is 37, then Joel is 40. Tyrese has an efficient night, passing the ball, scoring. Um, Jared McCain played a couple really nice games this week. He played one bad game against Sacramento, but he played good against New Orleans, good against Milwaukee, and he played good in the Charlotte game, but that game was a complete scratch. One of the worst
Yeah.
Sixers games I've ever
I mean, they were
watched
down by
in years.
50 at one point. That
Yeah,
was
like it,
insane.
complete scratch. But yeah, I mean they have to rebound the ball better. Oh my gosh, it makes me mad to talk about Adembona and how brutal Adembona is. But they're playing him right now, I think, because if they somehow trade Drummond and they don't get a backup big in at the deadline, Bona's got to play. So Drummond is one of those cap clearers that they have to try and get under that luxury tax. Uh,
Yeah.
so the guys that could be gone by Thursday. I think Kelly Oubre will still be here now that they saved the money off the Paul George
I
thing.
hope so. I hope
Yeah,
so.
he's playing well. Quentin Grimes could go in a deal. Andre Drummond could go. Justin Edwards could go. And then I think McCain could get thrown into something. So that's kind of the Sixers rundown for the week. Mostly the Paul George drama. But they did play well this week, and they got a big West Coast trip coming up. Steph Curry will be out tomorrow night for the back-to-back. It seems like Joel will play tonight, which means he'll not play tomorrow night. So
hmm
tonight will be tough. The Clippers have been kind of the best team in the NBA since the start of the year. I mean, they've
And
been.
again, I just urge fans to just watch and enjoy the young guys. Don't like it's okay to have your
It's not
expectations
even
for the
just the young
playoffs.
guys. Watch Joel, man. He's been
Yeah,
awesome.
like it's okay to watch and just enjoy the basketball they're playing. Don't go into the rest of the season thinking like, oh, we're 3 games back, blah 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 blah. You can't get your hopes up with a team like this because they're a young team. All right, so
I don't even know if necessarily I would. With Paul George, they're definitely much older. I mean, having like Jabari Walker having to play
I mean
now.
your
They're
bench is
younger
still pretty
now.
young.
They're younger now, but Grimes is in the league 6 years probably now. Uh, no, maybe 5, 6 years. When they play Drummond, obviously they're much older. But VJ is fun to watch. McCain has his nights. Uh, I would just say watch, man. Like looking at the East, I do believe if you're going to watch, you should watch with the mindset that when I look around the landscape of the East, I think that they can compete.
Yeah.
I think that they can put themselves in a world where they are competing. They have a superstar in Tyrese Maxey. They have a what I would consider an aging superstar, but he doesn't look like he's aging right now. He's turning back the clock. So, I would just tell you to watch, but shit, if you
And they
started
got a
watching
good game
if you
tonight
started
against the
watching
Clippers, so
yeah, if you started watching the Flyers, I'll tell you to stop watching that. But
I
we're gonna try and
continue to
stay on
watch,
sched we're gonna try and stay
unfortunately.
on schedule. I don't we we don't know enough. Basically every week when we bring up the Flyers, we have the same exact conversation. So it's almost getting like until we get somebody on here that knows more about the Flyers, and we'll talk about at the end about kind of our plan going forward, something that we are interested in doing. But we will get somebody on here eventually to talk about the Flyers, to not only educate ourselves, but also just have a stimulating conversation about the
Yeah.
matter. But anyway, two more topics that we wanted to get to. So we are also not we watch, but we are not extremely knowledgeable about this matter. But UFC back to back weekends with a numbered card on Paramount. I know you probably watched more of the card than I did because the Sixers were
I
on,
mean,
and then Temple was on Saturday.
well, you know
So
how the bar layout is. I mean, the Sixers were on at the same time that the card was on. I was paying more attention to the Sixers than I was the card because during the Tai Tuivasa fight, that was
I didn't see that. I know he
one of the
fought
worst fights I've ever seen.
Taliesin
Taliesin,
Teixeira.
Taliesin
Teixeira.
Teixeira, yeah. So
Yeah,
I just didn't watch that fight after the first round. So I just watched the Sixers because I believe it was at the same time of the 0-1 tribute. So I missed like two fights or something like that. You know,
I literally
the
turned it
main
on
event
for the
was
main
fine.
event. I
The
watched
main
the main
event was
event. That was
fine.
it.
The main event was fine. I thought Diego Lopez was going to win. I didn't
I thought
think
he was going to
that.
win by knockout going into it too, but then
No,
by
I
about
thought it was going to be by unanimous decision. I thought he was going to
I thought he was
dominate
going to
Volk the
get
whole fight.
I thought he was going to get a knockout, and he landed some good strikes. But clearly, I think it's Volk is one of those fighters that I think it's extremely hard because of his fight IQ, how he moves around the ring. I think it's extremely hard to not implement a game plan, but execute a game plan. And I think that's what Diego Lopez's problem was, probably in both fights. I did not see the first one, the first fight, but
I couldn't
I
remember.
think
I was hammered.
I think I think in this fight, clearly watching, he had a game plan to, he wanted to go forward, and at times he was going forward, but he really couldn't get anything across. He
Yeah,
didn't land a lot. I mean, by about round two, I was like, if he doesn't get a knockout, there's no way he's winning. I was like, he's not going to win enough rounds to win the fight.
no. Well, I
But
thought they split round three. I thought round three was a tie.
I
I thought
didn't
that
think
was
it
his
was
best
really.
chance of winning, maybe.
I didn't
But
think it was close really at all.
hmm,
Like there,
no.
MMA Guru thought it could have gone either way, but I feel like MMA Guru just says whatever the opposite opinion is of the public, kind of. I mean, he's funny.
Yeah,
He's
he's
funny.
hilarious.
He's also controversial in a lot of ways. But
No, he's hilarious.
yeah, and then the week before, Patty versus Justin Gaethje. We'll kind of just speak to the main events because that's who I can kind of know best. I don't know as much about the other fighters. O'Malley won, which I know you thought he shouldn't have won. I thought he should have won. But Patty
I
Gaethje
just don't like
that was an
O'Malley.
awesome fight. That was an awesome fight.
Yeah, I thought it was a great fight. It was the best. It was the best fight of the night, obviously. But
Agreed. Yeah,
I thought the UFC as a whole would have been better off if Paddy Pimblett won. I've gotten in
probably.
countless arguments with Avi about this, the biggest UFC fan that I know.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think the UFC is in great need of a face, and you could argue that it's Pereira or Khamzat, but these are
You need
guys that don't
somebody.
speak English.
Yeah.
Like these are not English speakers. You can't and it's not just their fault because Dana White and the UFC does a horrible job of promoting fights. I can't remember the last fight that was so promoted to the point where the entire world was ready to watch. I mean, maybe like I don't even know. I can't honestly name it because
Jones gone. Jones Stipe had to be
Jones
something like
Stipe maybe, but again,
that fight sucked
it's
too. So
it sucked. It's a common example, and I guess it's a noob take, whatever you want to call it. You look at the McGregor Aldo fight, they went around the world promoting this fight. Whenever McGregor was around, and there's not going to be another McGregor. We're not asking for another McGregor. We're just asking for a guy like Paddy Pimblett, who has a big personality, to be brought around the world, promote fights, and for Dana White to stop announcing cards on his fucking iPhone with his fucking pink forehead and his baldness showing through the screen. We don't want fights announced from your iPhone, Dana. We don't want it. And I'm convinced, I'm at the point where I don't even believe that Dana White is the one creating these cards anymore. I know he's very involved in the White House fight, which I think will be a great card this year if they can get an American on every single card. But
There's a
the
lot of people don't
UFC's
think that's going to
promotional,
happen though. It's just
it'll happen.
to
It'll
get
happen. It'll happen.
To get an American on every fight because of like I was saying this to Avi and Donnie. I was saying like to get an American on every fight, you're either gonna have to elevate some Americans, like throw Colby on the main card just for like Colby Covington sucks. Like I don't want to see Colby
Yeah.
Covington in one of my top 5 fights. I want Colby Covington to fight. Now I think Colby Covington is a complete piece of shit, but Colby Covington should be fighting somewhere on the undercard. But you can't be like okay in a fight in you can't fight in the month of March or February because we want to save you for the White House card. Now you're going to have other cards that are like that suck because you're saving fighters. You only have so many great fighters.
So I should say on the main event, on the
Yeah, I
main
think they can
card,
get
it should be
5 good
Americans.
fights. I
Yes.
think they can get five
Yes.
good fights, and then I think they will try and get some legends back for the undercard to make it like compelling and get eyes on it. Now, I think we will talk about the White House card next week because we're kind of on a time thing for this week. But just like there's been a whole bunch over the past week that's come out with the White House card, as there always is when Dana has, the post-fight interviews and everything.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you that they need to get a face kind of like it doesn't have to be an American, but it has to be somebody who talks a lot, interacts with the fans in a positive way, not somebody like a an Armin Sarukian who, speaks like not great English,
In,
but
in tongues. He speaks in tongues. Yeah.
is punching fans walking out to
Yeah.
his fights. Like, you need somebody who's interacts with the fans in a positive manner, talks some shit, is good on the mic, is a good fighter. And I think Paddy Pimblett is that. I think that Tom Aspinall was a good, but now he's not active really. I think that, you know, Hamzat doesn't speak good English at all, but the English he speaks, it's funny. I think
Yeah.
Marab was good at it. Marab was pretty. His
Yeah.
English was fine. Islam does not speak very good English, and right now the Americans don't have like a guy. They don't really have like a fighter right now.
No. I mean, again, a UFC fighter can only do so much to promote his own fight. You can go on Instagram and you can go on TikTok and do whatever and Twitter and all that and talk shit. But if the UFC is not making these guys travel around, doing events at local gyms or something like that, or in the city that the fight's about to happen, nobody's going to care. It's just going to be
I th
not swept under the rug, but
well,
people enjoy the actual fights. The
they're
actual
always going
fights
to
have been
get pay
great.
per view. They're always going to get pay per view views. Well, now it's less pay per view, but they will always get those types of views. And I see what you're saying about going around and promoting. I think that they have just, and I'm taking marketing right now, they've just shifted their marketing model to be more digital because they kind of feel like where they're going to get a lot of their money is from that gate of people watching online. They're always going to sell out the cards. They're always going to sell out because they're so strategic of Volk's fighting, let's put it in his hometown. That
Which
card
I
is going
don't,
to sell out. But
which I
I
don't
feel
even
like
get. I
it's
don't
the
even
fights.
understand that.
I understand it. Let these guys fight in their hometown when they've earned it. I'm not
No,
saying
it's
they're
not
first
that.
defense.
I don't know how people are buying these tickets.
They're expensive.
People are taking out a mortgage to buy these tickets. It's fucking nuts. It's insane.
I do think, and I kind of want to move on because we still got to talk about the Super Bowl. Um, I do want to say, I think a guy that could have done it, but he's fallen off was Israel Adesanya, but he's fallen off. He was for a little bit. Him or, Kamaru Usman did a good job of it too. I think it sucks that the UFC, I don't think was huge fans of Kamaru Usman, but
Mm,
those two
I don't
guys
know.
kind of
I
came
just
along.
think they're in a weird spot right now, promotional wise. Obviously, they sell out the fights people watch, but there's no like real big anticipation for a fight like there used to be.
I mean, I got into Gaethje Pimblett. I didn't care much for this one,
But
just against.
I didn't really give a shit. I didn't care.
Yeah. We didn't grow up in the time where like the UFC was becoming big and people were really getting into it. And like, we look back on these. It's like with any sport, you look back on old games and you're like, this was peak. This was great.
No, but I don't think you even had to have grown up. You can see it. You could see it in the fight posters. They're they're just carbon copies of each other. Like the Aldo McGregor fight poster is sick. The Jones Cormier
I
fight
haven't seen it.
posters, it's unreal. So I think it's a lot of laziness. I don't think Dana
That's
has
true.
as much to do with it as people think he does anymore. And like you said, it's a digital world we live in, so
Yeah.
everything's going to be promoted digitally, which I think sucks. But
And we'll
you
end it
know,
here, but I'll kind of say that I think one thing I've always disliked about Dana White is, as the owner of a league and something like that, he's so outspoken that, I think it's hard to get guys to want to promote. There's a lot of fighters that Dana White keeps around because they're good, but Dana hates them and they hate Dana, which should not be that's not a healthy working
no,
relationship
I mean
for any environment.
Gaethje just called out Dana White and was basically like, yeah, how the fuck are fighter bonuses not totaling to $1 million?
Yeah.
Like it's unreal. It's
Yeah.
unreal. Now I
All
get
right.
it. These guys fight once a year, but you know, should be with some more compensation for a win.
Who do you got in the Super Bowl?
I have Seattle dismantling New England. Like I'm
I
talking
just hope it's
like a 20-point differential, I
I'm
believe.
gonna take New England. I think it's a good game. I think it's low scoring. I think New England's defense can turn over Darnold. I hope it's a good Super Bowl. I think it's gonna be unfortunately low rated due to, some circumstances of the game that I don't care about, but seemingly people do. Uh,
Nah, that won't matter. People
well,
won't
I don't
care.
watch
People will still
anyway.
watch.
I
But
don't
also
watch anyway. I don't watch
everything
the
is
halftime
inflated.
shows.
All the viewership stuff nowadays is everything's completely inflated.
The
So
Super Bowl can people were saying the viewership could be down. The Super Bowl viewership is never going to be down because it's such a big like, oh, come over, come watch the game. And even if you don't watch, you put it on. So the TV doesn't know you're not watching. They just know it's
yeah,
on. So,
exactly.
you know, I listen, there's been Super Bowls in the past. That Rams Patriots Super Bowl, I slept through most of it. Like,
I didn't even I don't even think I watched.
if I don't
Yeah.
care, I won't watch. But I'm just saying like
I mean, I
maybe the
don't know. I think
halftime
it
I
is
don't know if they could single out the halftime show viewership. Maybe that is down because there is a
well
group
to
of people. I don't have a problem with Bad Bunny. I don't listen to his music, but I know there are
I don't
people
like
that.
them. I don't like it, but I'm not going to get into that. I think we learned
I,
our lesson though when we both watched the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl, and then we just went downstairs and played Xbox, and the New England
yeah, it's
won.
just like eh,
Like I was
people.
kind of pissed that we didn't watch, but looking back on it, I
I remember seeing the end. I
why
remember
would I watch a 28-3 game?
right, and then it started getting close. And I know we did go back and we saw the I don't know, it was James White or Dion Lewis or whoever the fuck scoring the other
Uh-huh.
time. But like I listen, I don't care for the halftime show. I didn't watch our half. I didn't watch uh who did our 1 in 17 Timberlake.
Yeah, I didn't
I
watch
didn't
that.
watch
I didn't.
Timberlake. I didn't watch who did it last year. Beyonce, Rihanna.
Uh,
It's
I
one of
think
those
it
two.
was
I think it was Beyonce.
I don't know. I don't know.
I I, I remember I watched the like Kendrick Lamar. I liked that one. I thought that one was pretty good. I
Yeah.
remember
But
watching The
by the
Weeknd. I'm not a fan of The Weeknd, so I didn't watch that one.
that one
Uh,
was cool.
I
That wasn't
remember
bad.
watching Shakira and J-Lo for that iconic moment. Definitely watched that one. Um, I don't, I don't, I just don't care for the halftime show. Like, especially when my team is in it. Last year, I forgot I had macroeconomics homework and I was doing that at halftime. So it's
I
not
like that. I
important to me.
like the national anthem. I look forward to that more than I do the
I don't know
halftime
who's
show.
singing it this year, though. It's always somebody,
Uh,
they pick somebody country every year.
nah, but like I don't like country, but the Chris Stapleton one was beautiful. I
When
thought it
was
was
that?
phenomenal. That was for us. That was in 2022 or 2022,
I'm
technically
so locked
2023.
in.
But
I'm so locked in and nervous on the game that I just don't watch.
anyways, I'm
It's not
looking at
like
the
I
Super
stand up and
Bowl.
put my hand over my heart for the thing while I'm at home.
I think I did. I
I'm
think I
sure there
did
are
that
people that
last
do
year.
that, but it ain't me.
I think I did that last year. But I'm looking at the Super Bowl jerseys, the matchups. Listen, the
The
jerseys
white on
itself are
white is
cool.
the white
The
on white is
jerseys
cool. Too
itself,
many patches.
too many patches. Too many patches on the jerseys, which I fear is the direction that all sports are going into. I know
Well,
um
everybody has
college
the
football,
250. Everybody
well,
has the
not
two.
even that. That's fine, but college football going in the direction of being able to have sponsorships on patches, the NFL with the sponsorships on the helmets, uh the MLB with the sponsorships on the helmets. It's too much. And I know that's what brings the money in, but it's too much going on. We already see it in the WWE
It
and the UFC. It's all over the fucking mat. Like
the
it's an eyesore at a certain point.
college jerseys is going to be. I understand it from an NIL standpoint. It will help the
Well,
smaller
they need
guys.
it. They need
It'll
it. They
help the
need it.
smaller guys, but I find a different way to sponsor it. Putting it on the jersey is not going to look good. Now with these
No.
Super Bowl jerseys, they're putting the USA 250 logo on like everything, like
But that could go in the
UFC.
helmet. That could go in the helmet.
That's what I said
That
because
doesn't need
like
to go in the
The
jersey.
Seahawks jersey has like something in every corner on both
Yeah.
sides.
And if you're a
It doesn't
captain,
look
it's right
as bad.
here.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look as bad on New England because they don't have one of those like 50th anniversary, things. But I said the helmet, but again, it's probably not big enough for the big man, so the helmet is probably not a big enough, spot to put it. He wants it front and center. Whatever. Finally, I want to end on this. I know you didn't watch, and I barely watched, but I thought that it was cool. Uh, Philly is getting a WNBA team, and they just did this Unrivaled event this weekend that was like a huge success. And I think
I saw it was mobbed. I didn't see anything about the women's team though. I wasn't really paying attention to it.
it's kind of like it takes the WNBA players, they play 3-on-3, and then the like it's not WNBA rosters are not as big as NBA rosters, but they're still bigger than this. There's like 6 players to a team, so you have more of like the top players. And
Mhm.
I watched the end of one game, and that was it. I watched the end of the first game. I did not watch any of the second game. But I just thought it was cool that like it sold out. And I think that the WNBA team that comes here is going to be a huge hit.
I mean, I don't know. I'm personally, I don't not care for it, but I'm not gonna watch probably. If they win a title, cool.
I don't know if I will find myself watching
But
necessarily every night, but if they're on, like at the end of the day, I'll probably still watch that over the Flyers. I just don't care about watching
no,
the Flyers.
I don't think I'll do that. But
I mean, I'm a
it'll bring
huge
money to the
basketball
city.
fan.
It'll bring money to the city.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I'm a diehard basketball fan. I'll watch pretty much any basketball game that is on the TV. At least college. I watch a little bit less of the NBA, but I watch all the Sixers games. But like I don't, I don't think I think that it is going to be a huge success in Philly. There's WNBA players that are from this area that I think would want to come back and play. I think they can be good. And Philly, Philly is a sports town. They'll rally around whatever. Shit, like
yeah, yeah,
we get around the
probably.
Union every year, you know.
I don't.
Well, I'll watch if they get into the
I
playoffs.
mean, I was like pissed off when they lost in the finals, but did I
I
care?
was
Like honestly, I didn't
I
give a
wasn't pissed
fuck. Like
off. I
I
watched
was
though. I
bomb. I
remember I
was
watched.
hammered. I was hammered. So
I remember I watched, but I wasn't mad when they lost. But like, the games are fun to go to. The prices there are ridiculous, but
I've never been, so I don't know.
the games are fun. It's a fun environment. Um, that's why, Philly is just a sports town. Like whatever sport you like, there's other people that like it too. So, it's a merger between the people in this city. Temple
Yeah,
basketball, big win the other night. Third place. So, had
I didn't
7.
watch. I don't even know who they fucking
How's
played.
Westchester ball doing? Are you going to
I
be
think I'm
calling
going to
the
the
game?
game tonight, but no, I'm
Are
not
you
calling the game. We have a problem with the headsets. Like
Did they
the
just cut
headsets
that
are all
off?
broken. Well, I have to order more like new ones because we don't know if it's that or if it's something with this thing called the Roadcaster, which is basically gives a live feed back to the on-air room. I'm not going to get into all that, but we're like at a standstill right now, pretty much. So our main focus is just to try and get it back before, the last few games of the season, then have it for baseball. We were going to do hockey, but I think we probably have to completely scratch that.
Yeah.
So, because it's at an off-site place. They don't play on the
Yeah, it's
campus.
tough.
It's like 10 minutes away, and you
East
have
did
to
the same
go the day
thing.
before and test it out. It's annoying. It's really
Yeah.
annoying. But
Yeah.
and but Flyers news, they suck.
Yeah, they suck. We said that
All right,
earlier.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
it for the episode.
Oh,
The problem is,
real quick before we cut. So please in the comments, if you do watch, now we have a list of people that we want to, our goal is that we want to try and bring local Philly sports podcasters. We're going to avoid the radio as much as we can because you listen to them all the time. But we want to kind of be our goal is that, we can help promote other people's podcasts and other people can help promote our podcast. So we have this list. These are the names that we have right now. We probably only have about 10 lists right now, 10 people right now. But if you have any ideas, drop them in the comments if you watch. But we have Run It Back Philly, Cole Media, Alex Cole, Adam Aronson, Kyle Neubeck, Kevin Agandi, who's a much bigger figurehead, but that would be a reach for us. Aaron Grungen, RB Philly Take, The Rush Joy Show, and then
Dr.
Ross
Glashow.
Lofgraven. And him and Ross Lofgraven, apparently. So,
Did you see me put that in last night?
no, but I saw it this morning.
Oh, because your icon was on, and I was like, oh, maybe he can see
I had
this.
it open, but I had it
Hmm,
open, but
gotcha. You're not a
yeah,
tab closer?
no, fuck no.
No? You don't do that?
No, probably bad for my phone. But yeah, in the comments down below, please drop, um, you know, people that you see on your Twitter feed, on your YouTube, whatever it may be. Do us a favor. Last week was our worst performing video, but we're gonna bounce back. We got 19 views last week, so we have 23 subscribers. So if you're
You guys
subscribed and you're
fucking
not
suck,
watching,
by the way. You guys fucking suck, by the way. Do we have to pop my pussy on live for you guys to fucking watch? I'm
we have.
serious.
I'm not gonna announce it right now, but we do have a 50 subscriber special. So just get us to 50 subs and you will see what
Yeah.
we have in store. So thank you. Episode 11 in the books. Next week we'll talk about the UFC again with the White House card because I do want to get into that and the optics of it. Who do we think could fight? The Sixers West Coast swing, so hopefully a good
Yeah, we'll
week.
see where they stand after that.
Yeah, and then yeah, I don't think we'll have much on the Eagles. We'll have the NBA trade deadline, so if something big happens, that'll probably be a preview of next week. But thank you guys for watching. Yeah, see you guys.
All right. Peace.